Cheers, guys. Epix 911, welcome to VR News for Tuesday, December 27th, 2016. Let's take a quick look where my Oculus Touch currently is. Now, last we left it on TouchWatch, it was about 25 clicks southwest of Chicago. Throwing up the map right now, you can see it is inching closer, taking pretty much the route that I thought it would, currently in Spokane, Washington, which is the U.S. state directly beneath my home province of British Columbia. So looks like Thursday will be the day. I'm still holding out hope for tomorrow, but realistically, it's not going to clear customs and do all of that within one day. I hope I'm wrong. So yeah, Thursday, maybe even Friday, which would be Gaming Friday. I'd be okay with that. I will have my Touch. All right, let's talk about probably tied at least for the best HTC Vive deal yet. If you were at all on the fence on buying one but had the Vive in your targets, now might be a time to consider purchasing it. Check out this deal. So it's the $100 off. It's the same bundle with the gallery and zombie training simulator, but in addition to the $100 off and those games bundled in, you got a $100 gift certificate for the Microsoft Store, which is really cool. Pretty much anything that's on there, it's close to $250 in savings. I would say definitely now would be the time to pull that trigger if you were thinking about it. Now, last month, I talked about this next news story contest starting up. It was an MSI contest for future devs to send in submissions to win prizes. Cash prizes, there's about 80,000 in total. There were Unity licenses, awesome gaming laptops, more on that in a second. Well, tomorrow the winners get announced. There were over 600 applicants. They whittled that down to about 20. First place is going to win 30,000 US plus the Unity Plus development software, plus they will get this kick-ass MSI laptop. It's the GP62M VR gaming laptop. It comes with that awesome 1070 that is within percentage points of its desktop sibling, the desktop version of the 1070. Basically just almost the perfect VR development platform. It's mobile. It's everything you need it to be. Second place, 25 grand and that. Third place, 15 grand and all that. So no matter which way you slice it and dice it, if you're in the top three, you're sitting pretty damn good from where I'm sitting. So fantastic, again, announced tomorrow. Next up, Fumito Ueda, the creator of Shadows of the Colossus, or Shadow of the Colossus rather, one of my better memory PS2 games. This came at a time when I was pretty heavily into World of Warcraft. I like the high-end aspects of WoW, the raiding, high-level guilds, all of that stuff. And Shadow of the Colossus was basically distilled to what I liked most about WoW. That formula, which was boss battles. You didn't have to waste time grinding, traveling, exploring, killing trash mobs. You went literally from one boss fight to the next, and damn, were they epic. Some of them 20, 30 stories high. You're crawling up looking for weak spots while they're moving around trying to get you off. It is and was a fantastic game. Creator of that is interested in creating VR, Fumito, but he has serious doubts because of the motion sickness, and it almost comes across as someone who'd been really influenced by news reports of VR rather than hands-on practical, which I find strange given he's in the gaming industry, practical hands-on experience with it, because he's very dissuaded by things like the motion sickness and doesn't feel he could address that, when really it's not a complicated formula necessarily to address motion sickness. It can be done in a variety of ways, the least of which would be just how you control the damn character in the game. But anyways, contrast that, so his feelings, with another industry veteran, this time Hideo Kojima, who had the massive public nasty breakup with Konami, the company who I really didn't want to name by name because they went from glorious frickin' arcade classics behind me there to what a lot of younger gamers remember, on the N64 and other platforms, to basically selling out completely to pachinko, which, you know what? If that's their new business model, fine. Doesn't mean I got to wish them the best, though, and I don't. Now, where Hideo differs from Fumito is he sees all kinds of potential in VR. And I love this quote. He goes, 2016 was year one for VR. Screen viewing culture hasn't changed for about 120 years. So I think the impact of VR will significantly change entertainment, daily lives, education, culture, and so on. I don't believe this to be only about games. And then here comes the zinger when he says, VR can make users feel in ways that previously was not possible. This is huge. Yet no one is doing this! Exclamation mark. And then he says, they see VR as an extension of traditional games, but I think it is not. More exclamation marks. You can kind of guess his tone. He's pissed off and frankly very frustrated. I contrast that, like I said, completely the opposite to the previous chap. Hideo, I think, could do amazing stuff in VR. Now, I'm going to preface that by saying I was not a huge fan of Metal Gear Solid 4. I thought he had gone way too Chris Roberts, like Chris Roberts did, where he basically turned into a frustrated wannabe Hollywood director by the end of the Wing Commander series, which was good for some people, not so much for me. I liked the gameplay. I didn't care for hours of cutscenes. Metal Gear Solid, same. I wanted the gameplay, not the cutscenes. And I think somebody's actually stripped the cutscenes and it literally becomes a movie. But anyways, I digress. Where I think he's done a brilliant job and pretty much the opposite, where I want to watch the movie, I don't want to play the game, is his latest project called Death Stranding. I'm going to include the link below. Have a look at this, guys. Absolutely mind-blowing and nails what he said to a T about VR. Picture that trailer once you've seen it, and then picture that in VR. It could do exactly what a lot of people haven't done because they keep trying to resurrect or redo the traditional gaming model. We've seen the jump scares. And yeah, they work the first few times. Then they just get boring. Imagine pure psychological terror, like in this trailer, Death Stranding, plus the sense of the unknown, exploration, all of that. I think it would just make an amazing virtual reality game / experience. I would love to see his take on that. And I know it's a lot of talk, but I will at least provide him with the benefit of the doubt and try whatever Hideo comes up with for VR. All right. Last news story, Samsung just released an internet update for their Samsung Internet Browser for Gear VR with improved support for the WebVR API. A couple of things were added, experimental JavaScript API and WebVR 1.0 itself, but I loved one of the feature updates, which is a change background feature. So picture this. You're browsing whatever that site is about. Maybe it's nature-based, something David Attenborough, and he's in the Congo, and he's talking about a chimp contrast, meaning north of this river in Africa, and this is all based on true stories, is a lineage of chimps who solve conflict by clubbing each other to death and forming raiding parties and armies and literally crushing each other under their heels. South of this river, you have a completely separate chimp species. These two were only separated by a couple million years, and yet they solve everything through love, sex. Literally, that's their thing. So now imagine being there, getting to see how they're living by being in that setting. Apply it to a movie trailer and you being there. Like, there's so much potential for web VR. It's honestly mind-blowing just thinking about it, and I can't wait. talked about it before, it will be the first real move away from GeoCities. Because let's face it, websites look a little bit better, but they're only steps away from GeoCities, not kilometers like they will be with WebVR. Very cool, guys. Off for some gaming. Cheers as always, and definitely catch you on the VR flip side.